Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Smite Pros and Cons, and today we have Osiris. So he was a requested pro con, mainly because his skills seem too complicated for some people, which is totally understandable. He is pretty awkward, especially if you're new to the game or to the god or whatever. So I'm going to do my best to help try to explain his abilities while going through the pros and cons and me getting lasered in the face. So we're going to start with the pros of his 1. So moving on to his 1, I'm going to pop up the abilities list right here real quick. The pro to it is mainly the slow. It's a really good slow. It does moderate damage, but it's mainly one of those things you like to chain up against other things. It's not for poking, so I wouldn't waste the mana trying to just chunk it at somebody and end up missing like that and use all your mana. Even if you do land it, like I said, it uses quite a bit of mana that you need to use for other abilities. So I'd use it for like if you're chasing somebody down, or you can jump in, or I mean you can blink in, but you can't really jump in without your ulti or without using your ulti. So pretty much what I mean is go ahead and use your 3. And then to slow them down to make sure they don't get out of your circle, use your 1, and that will assure you of stunning them and leading to a kill eventually if you can. So your 1's mainly is just comboing with your other abilities. It's not so much poke. Your main poke is your 2. That's which I'm going into. So the pros of your 2, like I said, it does fairly a good amount of damage. Now I made a mistake and put another point to my 3. I mainly put my points to my 2, mainly because it's kind of similar to Shock's. It's a little axe throw in comparison to warrior to warrior. So it does good poke, and it goes a far distance. It's a pretty nice distance, so you can poke from a nice range, and it's a big AoE. It's maybe about half a lane size, maybe a little bit less on some other maps. So that's definitely a good benefit to that. Helps clear a wave of minions. And we're going to pop up the ability list right here so you can see the actual damage if you're not familiar. As you can see, another good combo. Combo with your sickle, so it'd be 3, 1, 2. So pretty much get up to them without getting sniped. Use your 3, so you can start the timer on trying to slow them down. I'm not gonna go for this since that minions are OP. Minions are honestly I could just use that. So use our 3, use our sickle, combo with our 2. That'll speed us up and increase the slow on them, and we can finish it with our 1. So that's how Osiris works. You kind of have to rely on a chain reaction of abilities. It's not like some other gods that are just simple like poke or just they're all damage abilities. So like I said, the order would be 3, slow with your sickle, and then on top of that use your spirit flail to sickle slow increase right here. 50% for 4 seconds, also granting you bonus speed, and at the same time doing damage to that target since it lands on them. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to work on shin size here. Okay. So that's pretty much all the pros to that. It works well with other abilities such as your 1, and it does really great poke damage. Also, I forgot to mention the cooldowns on his 1 to 2 are really short. His 1, 5 seconds, his 2 is 10 seconds. So you don't really have to buy cooldown reduction items if you don't feel necessary to, which you shouldn't really. Unless if you're jungling or whatnot. Fraps kind of dropped my frames a little bit there. So, moving on to the pros of our 3 is mainly of just the sort of long stun pop of the abilities again. So stun duration is 1.4 seconds for a large area of people, and that's the only real purpose to it. Allows for some good pushing back enemies because they know what's coming up if they stay inside that circle. So it allows for I guess you can call it like peel. So what I mean by that, if one of your teammates are being attacked or whatever, you can come back, pop this and just kind of chase them down. That kind of push them out of the way of the team fight. It's also kind of good to initiate because the enemy team just kind of spreads, and also damage reduction, of course, to yourself is always good. Now moving on to our ulti, let me speed things up here a little bit. Our ulti is really good, mainly just for damage. And the healing reduction is just huge, 100%. So if you land on the healer, they're pretty much screwed for the next 6 seconds. They can't really heal themselves, so that allows for really great just burst damage as they have no way to heal themselves. So I mean, if you're not finding a healer, it's completely useless. Besides their health regen, which I mean that generally does not really save you at all. But if I can land on him, there's the damage. The damage is mediocre. It does a little bit more once you start putting points into it. So that's pretty much all of that. The bonus is just really the healing reduction. Just kind of simple, obvious pros to that. Now moving on to the cons, we're going to start with the 1. The con to it is definitely, if you're not that great at aiming basic attacks, you're not going to be that great at aiming this. I mean, it's sort of short. Maybe the same width as Thanatos' 1. I'm not 100% sure. But it's very similar to that. So if you're not too good at aiming, this god might not be for you, since you have to aim your ulti, which can be pretty tedious, but I'll get into that later. So yeah, that's mainly just a con. It's just it does low damage, and you know it's kind of hard to land it sometimes. I'm gonna go back for Shinsai. So moving on to the cons of our 2. 2 on the other hand is not too bad at all. There's not many cons you can say about it. The mana cost does get a little pricey as soon as you start putting your points into it. But besides that, his other abilities don't use too much mana, so I have to say there's no real cons to his 2. Now we're gonna move on to his 3. The 3 on the other hand, the problem I have with it, if you can't CC them or slow them down enough, it's fairly easy to escape his 3 here. That's a real issue I've seen that people have been having, and also that I have personally, is that it's just not way too easy, but it's fairly easy to escape it if you don't, you know, CC him down. Now this looks really easy because it's raw bot, so of course everything looks easy on here. But yeah, that's a bit of an issue. I mean, you're not CC immune, so you can easily be stunned, and then they will just keep running away while you're stunned there, and then they get out of the range. That's the big thing. So you may want to get like Magi's Blessing if you're having an issue trying to capture people with that, or your teammates not really helping you. So that's pretty much the cons of that of his 3. It's kind of easy to get away from it. Now the cons to his ulti, like I said before, is it's fairly short for an ulti. I mean, it's about the same size of his 2. So yeah, it can be kind of tricky trying to land. It also has like a weird delay system to it. But that's pretty much the only thing. It's just kind of hard to land. The damage is okay. It's not the best, honestly. But yet, warrior ultis don't do that much damage in general. Raw, what are you doing, boy? So, I mean, you have to be kind of good at kind of predicting where they're going to land. I was stupid and I forgot how my 3 opened, and it was going to stun them. But yeah, another pro to it is you can jump through, you know, some minor walls. Like it's about the same range as this, so you can probably go from here to there. But that's going to wrap it up for the video. I don't want to make it too long, because I don't want to take you guys' time. So, thanks for watching. Hope this helps some people out, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.